It's Keon White of the Patriots talking about the coaching he's getting this year and how happy he is with it. And the quote there was, "I've been training myself." I'll put in parentheses to this point. He says, "I've been training myself. Now I feel like I have a coach," he said. What a shot that was, Mazz.
Unbelievable shot. Really, again, what a freaking indictment and blast that is for the Jerod Mayo era and staff, and specifically Mayo, but really the whole staff. Now I feel like I have a coach. I'm implying, obviously, that he never felt like he was coached when that crew was here. And that, to me, is, when I heard that, I went, holy smokes. Could you insult a guy any more than that? Like, it was so bad that I felt like I wasn't being coached and I was basically doing it on my own on an island.
I mean, that's
really the essence of that comment. We were rudderless. We had no leadership. No one was at the wheel. We were just drifting, all trying to figure it out on our own. That's essentially what he said.
He was ostensibly talking about his linebackers coach. So again, the quote was, "I was training myself. I'm not going to lie. Now I feel like I have a coach." Yikes. White went on to praise new outside linebackers coach Mike Smith, who was brought in when Mike Vrabel was hired as new head coach. Smith's doing a good job of saying, "This is what you did. This is your thought process." And that's something I don't think I had before and what I was missing, White explained. Keon White went on to say, "I like Mike Vrabel. He leads with work. I can respect that. It's similar to Bill. It's comforting to know that you have a hard ass at the helm who will not be afraid to fist fight with you in the back alley." But just that shot there, "I was training myself. Now I feel like I have a coach."
He leads with work. I can respect that. So what was, I mean, obviously this is one big shot at Mayo, but was Mayo too much of a film guy? Like, there's something more there I'd like to know.
I don't think Mayo was a film guy.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it was more buddy-buddy. And this guy in particular did not respond to that. And remember,
it was clear he was pissed last year.
Yeah, and you remember the stuff early in the year where there were who were the veterans on defense that were saying we're not playing together or we're not being disciplined, guys got to stop freelancing. Do you remember that? It was, who the hell was that?
Yeah, no, that was he was calling out Keon White.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's very good. Yeah, it was Gotcha. And so, like, that was basically this kid's not playing within the framework of the defense. And so there's a guy, it sounds to me like there's a guy in White who clearly looked at it and needed, to be reined in, for lack of a better word, that needed to be harnessed. Because when you look at him, the guy's a ridiculous specimen, an athlete. But he would make mistakes in terms of assignment, just going after the quarterback, not playing the run, not setting the edge. And so, to his credit, he recognized what he needed. But I think that is there any bigger insult you can make to a coach than, you didn't help me, you were useless, I was on my own, and now I have people that are helping me? Like, to me, that is about as...
No, he buried him.
He really did. That is as big an indictment or an insult to a coach and how he does his job as anything you could say, in my opinion.
So here was the one I wanted to mention yesterday. How badly the Pats missed on Jerod Mayo. And when I say missed, it's like I equate it to their work at receiver, where they don't just miss, like they picked the wrong guy, they could have had someone better. No, that's just a miss. No. They draft guys at receiver who don't belong in the league, who aren't NFL receivers. I mean, they missed by a country mile. They missed by a country mile at Jerod Mayo. And, part of the reason I know it, and I believe it, and it was reported soon after he got fired, Mayo. I can't remember who had it, but someone reported that Mayo is expected to not pursue any coaching jobs, or is expected to leave the coaching profession, or something along those lines.
Yeah. May be done with coaching, yeah.
It's true. Have you heard?
No.
Not just from Jerod Mayo, but anything of Jerod Mayo?
No.
Since he was let go in January?
Nope.
It's almost impossible to do in 2025 with social media, people in their phones.
He obviously hasn't granted any interviews.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even heard, and he's got a lot of friends in the media, I haven't even heard and been able to discern.
I've talked to Jerod.
Well, not just that, but someone making his case publicly where I can tell that he's talked to him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You can tell that a lot. If you know the players and know the relationships. You know whose guy is whose guy, and when a guy starts promoting a certain coach or saying something about a certain coach, you can glean that they've talked, and he's doing business as business is done, as you would say. It's all a long way of saying. Mayo is obviously not granted any on the record interviews. I don't know if he's talked to anyone off the record because I haven't been able to pick up anything from what's been said about him. He's not in the game. He hasn't interviewed for anything. He's fallen off. I haven't even heard people say they ran into him at the coffee shop. I was in line with him at Star Market, Roach Brothers, picking up my loaf of bread. Has there been a sighting?
No, nothing like that.
No, not that. Again, nothing, zero.
Not at a Starbucks, not at a Dunk's, no one's, there's been no photos online. Again, that's pretty difficult to do in 2025.
But all the guys that were fired last year, they've either moved on or they're biding their time. Like, for example, Matt Eberflus, I think, is back being a defensive coordinator somewhere. I just looked it up.
Yeah, someone hired him as their defensive coordinator.
Dallas. Eberflus is in Dallas as a defensive coordinator. McCarthy interviewed or declined to interview. I think he was requested to interview with New Orleans and turned it down. And there was a report that I just read that McCarthy is biding his time and is going to re-enter the coaching cycle in 2026. He hasn't done an interview either, but he was linked to jobs and has let it be known, I'm going to sit this year and come back in next year. Doug Peterson hasn't granted interviews, but he was watching his kid plays in the UFL. There you go, father-son duos. Doug Peterson and his kid in the UFL, where they caught up with him, and he said something along the lines of, I'm content just watching my kid for now. So he's been seen from, he's been heard from, probably sitting on the sidelines waiting for his next move. I don't feel he's left the game. In Vegas, Antonio Pierce has taken a job with the University of Arizona, I think. Not that I've seen an interview, but he's still in the game. Dennis Allen is now the defensive coordinator of the Dallas. Allen was in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. He's now the defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. So Robert Saleh with the Jets, is he now the defensive coordinator of the Niners again?
I think that's right.
That's right. Yeah,
Didn't he go right back to the 49ers? So they're all still in the game. They're all still NFL coaches in some way, shape, or form. Saleh went back to the Niners. So they may have, the teams may have picked the wrong guy. They may have just come up short as NFL head coaches, but they belong in the league. Mayo's not even in the league.
No, right. And not anywhere. In fact, even Belichick ended up in North Carolina at 70-something years old and sort of, and I know you're talking about more recent guys from this past year. No, we have no idea where he is or what he's doing.
Mayo is the equivalent of N'Keal Harry or Tyquan Thornton or soon-to-be Jalen Polk or Javon, guys that they draft who are not even NFL receivers. Jerod Mayo's not even an NFL coach. I don't even know if he's an NFL assistant coach. I mean, he'd probably get a job, I would like to think. I don't know if he'd get a coordinator job. Their defense stunk. And his defensive players are saying, now I finally have a coach. That's how badly they missed on Jerod Mayo. But it's sort of odd. They completely fallen off the face of the earth, isn't it?
I mean, borderline unprecedented. Like, Mike, again, because of Murray's point, too, you got to factor in the era we're in. Like, if he were to go to the supermarket, and someone recognized him, someone would pull out their phone and take a picture.
So that's just odd. But what to me, the story is that he was never a coach. He was never coaching. It's not in his blood. It's not his passion. He did it because Kraft recruited him back, and they promised him a big job, and they paid him. And so, sure, I'll do this thing. But he's not about that thing.
And also, don't forget, there was buzz for him before he took the Patriots job, right? Carolina was interested. He was going to have an interview there. He never took it. Also, Philadelphia was rumored to have interest. Like, the buzz is gone. Like, his name is now mud in the league.
But he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to be a coach, which means he never really wanted to be a coach. All these other guys they're all going back into the cycle, and maybe they'll get another crack like Dan Quinn. Maybe they won't. But Robert Saleh wouldn't know what to do with himself if he wasn't coaching football. That's not Jerod Mayo. He's not a lifer.
No,
he's not chronic. He was never really meant to be a coach, and I know that because he's not coaching. If you're a coach and that's in your DNA and your blood,
that's all you can do.
It's all you do. You get fired, you take another job. You get fired there, you take another job, and you keep going till there's no jobs left. That's not Jerod Mayo. Maybe that's to his credit as a person, but it's just another example of him. He had no business, no not even in the same universe of business being a head coach of an NFL football team. What a horrible, ridiculous evaluation by Robert Kraft and ownership of this team.
I mean, it ultimately comes down to that. Like the fact that they thought he was something that he wasn't. Or they wanted him to be something he wasn't.
Hiring someone who, frankly, I just have to believe could take or leave the profession. Doesn't really care. Like, that's just stunning that they turned the whole thing over to that. I mean, crazy when you think about it.
Unbelievable, really. Again, we're going to look back on it, and to me, that decision, if someone had made that decision that didn't own the team, you would look at them and say, you got to fire this person. Like,
the guy who made the decision.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's the owner. You don't have that option. But I think it was that bad. I felt that way at the time, too.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.